So for my children's environmental health class project, I decided to design blueprints for a playscape. And this playscape is pretty decently large. I have a whole explanatory paper over it, but this is where I'm going to go through it in a video version. And starting off, the layout, this basic layout is what it would look like with basically in the shape of a huge circle with a smaller circle encompassing the sensory garden in the middle. And then this quarter circle section here would be dedicated to like ages 3 through 8. I called it the toddlers and tykes terrain. And then this section, which is what I'm going to be talking about right after this, is the disability friendly section. And it's mainly for physical disabilities and children in wheelchairs, while the sensory garden is for children who have mental impairments or like aren't socially adept. And then on the left side, in this kind of like crescent moon shape, we have the teen towerland on top, and then below that is a preteen power course, and I'll get to all of this. So starting off with the disability friendly section, I really liked this design idea that I saw when I was researching of including kind of like a spinning top or like, yeah, just a spinning feature, but wide enough and with wide enough entrances so that someone with a wheelchair or even two people, two children, could come and operate it. And you basically grab this middle piece and turn it and keep turning, and it will just spin you around and around with the stars on this section being cut out so that light shines through and it looks really, really cool. And then like just space themed on the ends, and then probably like some type of star pattern on the bottom. And then here are like just some of the details if you want to read while I'm talking. Then for the wheelchair swings, I looked up how to kind of design these a little bit. There's already designs out there that work really well. I just wanted to add this little feature of like a monkey bar so that a child could possibly grab the monkey bar and use his or her own momentum, use their own momentum to propel themselves and swing if they wanted to. And then for this last bit, I decided to design a wheelchair slide but make it slightly different and curve the ramp over the slide. And this is because I know when I was a kid, I loved riding in the car, or I didn't love riding in the car with my parents, but I really loved when we would go under bridges because it was just this really cool feeling of being enclosed for just a second and then coming out to this other side, and it's almost a whole new place. So I decided to do that to give kind of a little more sense of adventure when children go down the slide. I did change this in my paper to being wood and metal. The slide itself would most likely have to be metal, but the ramp could be made out of wood, as could this bottom part. And the swing set would probably have to be metal and plastic as well. This I'm not so sure. I think it could be just as structurally sound with wood, although wood and plastic would probably, or metal and plastic, sorry, would probably be better. And then moving on, we have the, I called this the toddler and tykes terrain. So this first section is just a series of play platforms. And so as you'll probably read in one of these bullet points, this first one is only about 2 feet off the ground. These are little hanging ropes for the really little kids to play on and just dangle with. And then this is like a sliding feature where you take a little knob or a boat or something and just kind of slide it along this track to the other side. And then a nice little barrier here with windows to look out at your friends, possibly with colored, like colored plexiglass or like see-through material. Each of the platforms themselves has a different texture. So this first one would probably be more wood, and then you'd have like kind of like a braille texture, but a little bit more raised. And then this would be similar to like a sidewalk corner. And then you have kind of like a metal platform with cross hatches. This is a slide. I know it doesn't really look like it, but this is a slide that would go down from the second platform. And a bridge connecting the two is a little rock stepping stone with a log bridge. This is a cargo net climbing wall, and each little peg for support of this platform has climbing pegs, so it's like a ladder. This second bit is like a stone bridge leading to the third platform, and behind this is a low rock wall. So we're now at 6 feet high, and this one's 4 feet high. with a smaller rock wall here as well. And then this tallest platform is probably for like around the older end of this section with a twirly slide, a twisty ladder that comes down, and then like a rope bridge that connects these two. And then on the back side, I just kind of wanted a little bit of a railing because it is a bit high for young children. But I didn't design anything for this backside to get up and down. Next is the push-to-play train. And so it's basically just a circular train track with a, I forget what they call this. It's like a hand pump train. It's like a hand cart. I think that's what they call it, a hand cart. And basically it works by you grab like one end and you push down, and then then another person grabs the other end and pushes down as you are coming up. And so this repeated motion like propels you down the track. And so that was the basic idea behind that section of it. And it would just go in a circle, but it would provide a good amount of exercise. And then these little features here in the middle, they're all wheels. Most of them would either be wood or metal, and they'd have like different textures along them. And then in the center, I decided to add another feature, kind of like this one, but it's more of a traditional, I guess it's not a merry-go-round, but I don't really know what to call it, but it spins in a circle and you grab hold of the bars and run alongside of it. It could either be designed like this, or it could be designed kind of like a cage with a central pole and then a larger cage around it so that children could hop in and out. And then this last section are play mounds. And so this would be kind of like a border between these other sections. The play mounds would kind of be scattered along this edge. And they would just be made of different sizes, shapes, materials, and offer like a wide range of free play activities. Like some would have handholds, some would be shaped like a tabletop so you could jump off of them. Others would just be running across. And so, yeah, and then the floor for this entire section would most likely be pea gravel or mulch for the kiddos. And then next up, we have the sensory garden. So this is one of my favorite features because children often need breaks to just kind of explore what's around them. And I'm especially, I wanted to include kind of this section for children who weren't very socially adept or who didn't want to interact too much with other children, or simply for children that wanted a break. And so I don't have everything pictured here, but basically this whole thing is a hill with the center being a nice grassy area just to relax and chill in. And then this is like the top of a hill that goes down in each direction. And then the entrance to the sensory garden would be this path, and the path would be about 5 feet wide, with the water path being about 3 feet wide and not very deep, like maybe like an inch or so that it would very much minimize the risk of children drowning, but children would still get to play with water. And each panel here is a different material or texture. The only thing I changed, which is noted here, the only thing I changed were the rubbery spikes, which would be here. I'd probably change that with like a mini sand pit. And then this plaid platform is just wood planks with a nice thick canvas plaid pattern laid on top. So yeah, and then all of the water would be up, or the water would flow because of a pump operated underground. And then along the edges here, I would plant up or put up planting boxes with native Texas species. And then each planting box would either have a light or a music like sensory thing, so that children, if they chose to do so, could play with those features as well. And then next up, we have the preteen power course, and this is for ages about 8 through 12, roughly. Again, these are mainly tailored towards specific ability types, and some children are far more athletic than other children, but that's why I designed a range of different play features. And so to start off, this would be a rope zip line, which would be located probably about here. And then this part right here, this node is about 10 feet high, and then it would slide down a 25-foot track to a point about 5 foot high. I haven't done any of the math on this, so 25 feet might be a little too long. And then this dome is kind of like one of those classic metal bubble domes that we climbed on as kids, with mulch underneath to provide a soft landing if you fall, and then this nice rock platform that kids would climb up on and grab this rope with to be able to slide. And then the next is the jungle gym. Yes, I spelled gym that way on purpose just to match the J of the first word. This would be like the lower section, because this whole jungle gym area is going to be under the boardwalk, the Teen Towerland. So this whole section that I'm talking about now, from a bird's eye view, would be under this section. And so, get back to it. There we go. This is the lower section. So you would first have like a cargo net wall, kind of shaped like a tent. So it would be, there we go. So it would be kind of like that, with each section being a cargo net, and then the pole would be about here. And then, yeah, you have rocks obstacles and just various different obstacles, including this kind of like a ramp idea. It's like curved that way. I don't know if you can see the curvature in my hand, but you would take this rope and you would run along that curve as a child. And I just thought that would be super, super cool to come into like these balance beams, and just running through here with my friends when I was that age would have been so much fun. And then all of these features are attached to the underbelly of the boardwalk that's above them. So for instance, you have like a spider's balance beams made out of wood that would be kind of hanging from that. The rope, of course, is hanging. And then you have these hanging like monkey bar wheels where they spin, but you could also use each wheel to get to the next one. And this is a reverse seesaw. So someone would pull down on one side and lift another kid up, and then you would just use the momentum to go back and forth. And then this is kind of like an upside down rock wall where you hang and you just kind of monkey bar along. And then this cargo net, the cargo net monkey bars goes above these guys just to help you get over as a kid and to provide a little more fun. And then lastly, we have the Teen Towerland. And personally, after looking into like teen designed playgrounds, which there aren't very many of, but there should be, because teens need some of the most active, or need to be some of the most active and athletic, or need a place to develop these abilities so that they stay fit and healthy and develop the habits that they'll carry on into adulthood. And so to start off, I have a bungee net with large holes. And then on this end, I have two different tracks that are kind of like zipline tracks, just for older kids, and you grab onto this little tiny handle and slide down, hanging on. And then this middle part here is to get up, and they're ascending monkey bars. So they have kind of an incline, and you would monkey bar up onto the platform. The whole idea behind this platform is that you shouldn't be able, as a child, you shouldn't be able to get on this platform without being athletic or agile enough. And so that's why I have like these large holes for the bungee net, and then these climbing ropes to get on from this side are also knotted so that only older and larger children can get up on here. These structures are telephone poles holding the whole thing up. This is a ropes course, but of course you can read just down the list here. This feature is kind of like a horizontal rock wall. And to give you kind of an idea of what that would look like, if the rock wall was here, it would be inclined towards me, and I would have to like shimmy with my hands, and then underneath it would be a nice flat but textured rock platform, so that you could actually rock climb somewhat safely from one end to the next. And then I believe that's pretty much it. This is a tiny trampoline so that you could just get a nice jump start to all of this obstacle course play. This is a vertical wall. I know it doesn't look like it from the rendering or from the drawing that I did, but it would be straight vertical, and you would have to climb from one end to the other. And then this is like a spinning log, kind of like how that cliche lumberjack scene where one lumberjack stands here and then the other one stands here, and they're floating in the water and they try to knock each other off, except it's on a boardwalk. And then this idea I got from American Ninja Warrior, where you just jump between platforms. And ideally, I would love for this whole thing to be inclined or concave towards the middle, so that I wouldn't have to put up so many safety railings, because it really takes away from kind of the trust we put in kids to know their own abilities, and to be careful with what they're doing. And of course, like, kids are going to fall, kids are going to get hurt, but that's part of the process of learning. And that's something as a parent that I've realized, is that you can't always protect your child from being hurt. So it's best to just put the trust in them to develop their knowledge and skills to where they can take care of themselves. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it for the playground design. I really hope you liked it. I hope I gave a good enough explanation. And I thank you so much for listening.